Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new moon forecast for the Pisces new moon on March 13th. We've had a really heavy start to 2021, and I'm so excited to bring you some happy, lighter news. It's a new moon, so it's time to take a little bit of a vacation into yourself. Set some new intentions for this area of your life affected by the new moon, but it's also in Pisces, and Pisces is this water sign, this mutable water sign of healing, of dreaming, of letting go. It's also separating from a conjunction with Neptune, and Venus is applying to a conjunction with Neptune. So they're both pretty close to the new moon, and this further underlines this nice energy. It's time for some idealism. We can also feel very happy to start something new. It's a nice energy. It's almost like we're taking a healing bath, a spa trip into the ocean of Pisces, being healed, being cleansed. So as we're taking this healing bath, spa treatment, we're being filled up by creativity, by idealism, by, and Pisces has this association with looking at the world through rose-colored glasses. And I think that's what we really need right now. This is a relief from, at least for us, in lockdown or with heavy restrictions due to the ongoing corona pandemic. And that brings me to this other super Piscean theme of being, because Pisces longs for freedom. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac before the astrological year starts on the vernal equinox, spring equinox, around March 21st. So as Pisces is this sort of the last sign of the cycle, it longs for freedom. It longs for going further. It longs back into the collective ocean, back into unity. And therefore, Pisces often can, as an archetype, gravitate to situations where there is a sense of being, it's this pull between captured and or of being contained, and at the same time seeking freedom. And that's why we get all of these, religious connotations to Pisces, like going to the monastery. You're going into seclusion, into isolation, to come closer to God, to come closer to the source, to truth. But at the same time, you're still confined in a monastery, right? Or in an ashram, or in a mental hospital. That's also one of the associations. So there's this, while you're seeking freedom, you're still seeking further confinement. So Pisces also is associated with these situations where we have confined ourselves, our own mental or especially emotional prisons. And I think this new start is sort of like really looking at where we have confined ourselves, what no longer works for us in the boundaries that we have created for us. This close, it's pretty close, a conjunction with Neptune in Pisces, I think can really be for a lot of us this dissolution of boundaries, of structures that we have created here. The new moon is also applying to a sextile with Pluto in Capricorn, our old friend there. So this to me, this just like further underlines this theme of there are opportunities for liberation, for healing. The sextile is a nice aspect of harmony. It's a seeking of harmony, of communion, of community. In other news, we have the ongoing square between Saturn in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus. And that's going on. It's lessening in intensity. So yeah, that's just 2021 being 2021. But it will lessen in intensity for the next few months and then increase again as we're moving towards June, July. Saturn is also, well, Mars is applying to a trine with Saturn. This is more like we might have a lot of energy towards reaching our goals. We might have a lot of energy and we will be more successful now. There has been a lot of maybe more impulsivity with Mars for a while now, throughout 2021 up till this point, because he's been in the same sign as Uranus in Taurus since January 6th. Both Uranus and Mars are not in dignity in Taurus, so there's a greater possibility that they might not be very nice. But now that Mars is fully into Gemini and in this applying trine to Saturn, we have more grit. We might have a lot more energy. We might be more focused towards reaching our goals. At the midpoints between Mars and Saturn, we have Chiron and Aries. So we're still working through these themes of becoming okay with being ourselves, digging up the old wounds, the old situations where it wasn't okay to fully be yourself, and because of that, not really accepting ourselves. But Chiron is helping us and giving us opportunities to become more okay with being ourselves, accepting of ourselves. I'm wearing green for the occasion as Pisces season is the transition from winter into spring, and things are slowly starting to grow. We are seeing the solutions to this super long winter hibernation we've been in through the corona pandemic. Green is not only the color of the new growth, but it's also the color of hope. And I think while the new moon in Pisces can be, on the downside of this might be that we might be a little bit too idealistic, might be too hopeful, might be a little bit more escapist, perhaps. I think we all really need this optimism, this idealism, and hope for that we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, another thing I wanted to say is that, this is the in traditional astrology, Pisces is the sign of Jupiter. And Jupiter is this optimistic, let's go look beyond quality. Let's dream, let's have, it's the visionary, it's the traveler, the one that's always looking for greener pastures. And Jupiter he's in Aquarius at the moment. He is far away from Saturn, so that's nice. He's becoming more effective after having been a whole year in isolation, in exile, while he was in Capricorn, and finally for the start of 2021, he's been super close to Saturn. And he's been, so he hasn't been really able to give us a lot of opportunities of new hope, of luck. But now that he's separating from Saturn, moving further away, moving towards his own sign of Pisces, he's becoming more effective at giving us these things. So it feels like spring is coming astrologically as well. Jupiter will move into his own sign of Pisces around May 16th. So we have about 2 more months before we have this little dip of a few months into of Jupiter into Pisces. And this is super interesting because here in Norway, all the officials, all the health officials are saying, yeah, vaccinations will have come so far that probably by the middle of May, we will be able to do a lot more fun things. A lightening up of restrictions, of travel, another Jupiter thing. So I'm just like, yeah, well, I expected that. Thank you. And hopefully everything will there are some hiccups, there are some problems with vaccinations, at least here and probably a lot of other places. So I think that, hopefully things will have calmed down, we will have found some solutions by then, and the astrology is looking hopeful for this time. But anyways, for the new moon, enjoy this time. Enjoy the break, the optimism, the idealism. Be creative. Go out and have a spa day. Do some forest bathing or whatever. As much spying as you can of enjoying yourself, because this is, next week we're moving more towards the start of the year of Aries season. So we're being fired up, becoming more like, yes, we're gonna do something new. Aries is also a super hopeful sign, so that continues. But for now, just relax and enjoy. So as we go through the sign by sign forecast, I want you to remember and to know that Pisces is the sign of daydreaming. So allow yourself to dream, allow yourself to be filled by optimism for the new future, for whatever you want to start in this area of your life. Yeah, and remember to listen for your rising sign primarily and your sun sign secondarily. For Aries and Aries rising, this is in your 12th house of isolation, of confinement, of introspection. It's also the place of our deep psychology, of our subconscious. So think about how you want to spend your time alone, how you can spend time alone to heal, to recuperate, to restore yourself. How you want to liberate yourself from old patterns of isolation that are keeping you isolated. Tear these down and heal them. This is a great opportunity for that. For Taurus and Taurus rising, this new moon is happening in your 11th house of friendships, of groups, of networking, of alliances and organizations. So it's time to heal maybe your views of organizations. Maybe you've been feeling lonely in your relationships with friends, with groups. So take some time to really examine those feelings and install some new beliefs about how you want your groups to be. For Gemini and Gemini rising, this new moon is happening in your 10th house of career, of legacy, of how you operate in the world. So it's a great new beginning, some possibilities in your career for how you want others to see you. For Cancer and Cancer rising, this is in your 9th house of long distance travel. Not much happening at that in that area at the moment, but think about where you want to go once this is over. Dream about where you want to go. What foreign lands do you want to explore? The 9th house is also the area of higher education, of beliefs, of religion, of astrology, so maybe you're starting something new there. For Leo and Leo rising, this new moon is happening in your 8th house of death and mortality, of other people's money, of your partner's money, and of deep intimacy. So this is also a place of healing. Think about how you deal with these topics. How have you confined yourself by your old emotions, by your old belief systems in relationship to these areas, to these topics in your life. This is a great opportunity for healing those old emotions. For Virgo and Virgo rising, this new moon in Pisces is in your 7th house of relationship, of marriage, of other people, of working one-on-one. So this is a great new start in how you deal with others in one-on-one relationships. How have you been isolating yourself in relation to others? It's a great new start here. How do you want to be in your relationships? How do you want to show up when dealing with others? For a Libra and Libra rising, this new moon in Pisces is happening in your 6th house of your health, of your everyday life. So maybe it's time to start some new healthcare routines. Maybe it's time to start working out again. Maybe it's time to go to a spa and start taking better care of yourself. More time for relaxation. Be creative and enjoy this super nice opportunity. For Scorpio and Scorpio rising, this new moon in Pisces is happening in your 5th house of your hobbies, of creativity, of romance, of children. So think about how you've been dealing with these topics lately, how you can, if there has been any of this sense of isolation, of confinement, and examine how you are culpable, how you might have some old wounds that are isolating you when it comes to really shining your light out into the world. For Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, this new moon in Pisces is happening in your 4th house of your family, of your parents, of your home, of your roots. So this is a really nice opportunity to install some new beliefs here. If you've been estranged in some way, if you've been feeling lonely in your family, it's time, at least this is an opportunity to heal that, to start healing that. Think about how you want to show up in your family, in your home. For Capricorn and Capricorn rising, this new moon in Pisces is happening in your 3rd house of communication, of friends, of your close community, of your extended family. So if you've been feeling isolated from your extended family, from your close community, it's time to start sending some messages, getting in touch with people, and maybe start to heal some of those old things. For Aquarius and Aquarius rising, this new moon in Pisces is happening in your 2nd house of your money, of your possessions. So think about how you've been spending lately. Yeah, it's just a good opportunity for you. It's a good time to spend some money on treating yourself, on healing, on going to the spa, on just soothing your soul. And finally, for Pisces and Pisces rising, this is your new moon of the year. So happy birthday to all of you Pisces. And think about how you can deal with yourself in a better way, with more love, with more compassion, because I find that compassion is really the main ingredient to healing, understanding yourself. And how can you view yourself with more compassion? Thank you all for listening to my new moon in Pisces forecast. I'm so happy to be back on video. It feels really exciting. And consider subscribing if you haven't yet. I'll be back in a few weeks with the full moon in Libra forecast. See you next time, and goodbye.